Saturday marks the one-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. And a new book by a pro-life advocate and former NFL player examines what comes next. In the new fight for life, Roe race, and a pro-life commitment to justice, Benjamin Watson writes in part, quote, "Now is not the time for extremism, for focusing on one side and one side alone. What we need is to come together in humility to honor, protect, and ensure the best possible life for both mother and child. We still have a lot of work to do." And we go now to the author of that book, Benjamin Watson, former NFL player and vice president of strategic relationships with Human Coalition, a pro-life group that's based in Dallas. Ben, great to have you with us today, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you.
Well, we have a lot to discuss, but first, I'm curious, what inspired you and really made you write this book? And also, your book begins really almost a year ago with the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Tell us what went through your mind that day and why you started the book there.
Well, I think what inspired me, honestly, was just knowing that we were at a seminal moment in not only American history, but when it comes to pro-life advocacy. And if I think back a year ago, Saturday to June 24th, 2022, and where we all were, I had feelings of joy, of great emotion. And I thought about the 50 plus years of pro-life work that so many people in different sectors across faith traditions have done. But I also felt a little bit of worry or trepidation, knowing that the next year would be something that would be totally different from what we were used to from a pro-life perspective. And so I wrote the book to cast a vision. I believe we're in a new fight for life. This time period doesn't look like it did before Roe was overturned, but it's imperative that people who love life, who want to serve both women and children, and who want to dig into some of the systemic, perhaps, factors that may make certain women vulnerable. Now is a time not for us to shrink back and think that this is over, but really to re-engineer and to reimagine what it looks like, and to keep that same energy and take it up a notch. Because quite honestly, even though Roe was overturned, there are still women who feel like abortion is a necessary and needed option for them.
Yeah, and as we mentioned that excerpt from your book earlier, you said there's still a lot of work that needs to be done by the pro-life movement. It really is a theme throughout your book. Can you talk about what kind of work you think pro-lifers should be doing? What should they be focused on now, that Roe has been overturned?
Well, as many of the things that pro-lifers have been doing, there's an idea out there that pro-lifers only care about children in the womb. And we know that not to be true. It may be for some, but not for most of the people that I've encountered. But there's an individual responsibility. What are we doing with our own personal resources? How are we serving? There's pregnancy resource centers, 2,700 of them, around the nation, that are serving women and connecting them with educational opportunities or whatever their needs may be, material or physical or spiritual needs. But then on a legislative level, state by state, the different states are making different laws, and we need to be vigilant in how we vote and the things that we're aware of. And we also need to, on a church level or a faith level, understand how we speak about things like marriage, how we speak about sex to our children, if we're even talking about those sorts of things. There are so many different ways and different facets of this. It's more than simply saying, don't abort your child. Although we believe that full stop 100%, there are also all these other connecting points and avenues. And, I even talk in the book a lot about social justice, because even my work in racial justice coincides with some of the statistics that we see with abortion and how the two are connected inextricably to one another.
Yeah, and I want to mention this too. In one part of your book, you say that the pro-life movement could even learn something from six-time Super Bowl champion coach Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. What did you mean by that?
Well, I had to throw some football analogies into the book because football has been such a huge part of my life. But one thing Coach Belichick always told us was, do your job. He always said, do your job and do it well. And the other thing he did was he held us to a very high standard. He never sugarcoated anything. And the do your job part is, there are so many people that would consider themselves to be pro-life that are attorneys, that are in medicine, perhaps they're in faith, they're educators, they're moms, they're dads, they're lay people, or they're clergy. And we all can contribute something. We all can do something, but also something that Coach Belichick talked about, and I think I mentioned this in the book as well, is he never really sugarcoated things. And the fact of the matter is that 76% of abortion-determined women say they would prefer to parent if their circumstances were different. And we also know that right now, 74% of America, approximately, still has very, very legal abortion. And I think I heard you mention this earlier when we were coming on. The abortion pill is at 50% and is approaching 60 and perhaps 70 or 80 in the coming years. And so the truth of the matter is there is much work to be done. There's a new fight for life. And my hope is that the pro-life movement understand that now presents a great opportunity to keep going and also to expand and create even more allies for the fight.
Ben, we have probably a little bit less than a minute left, but really quickly, where can folks get the book? And also, what's next for you?
Folks can get the book anywhere books are sold, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever. Tyndale Publishers, you can go on their site as well. And there's also an audiobook. I actually narrated the audiobook. My wife told me I needed to do it. It was a grind. But if you like my voice, get the audiobook. If you don't like my voice, then just get the paperback or the hardback. And what's next for me? I've been doing some press around the book, but I work for an organization, as you mentioned, Human Coalition, and I will continue to work with them, the pro-life movement, and college football is around the corner, so it's about time to start talking some SEC football for my job as a broadcaster.
All right, we love it, Ben. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate. Congratulations on the book, and God bless you, and thank you for all that you do.
Thanks so much. Take care.